Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakakadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And Shalom to the Akim, scattered to the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And I say Shalom to your Akim out there. And this is a news article from CNBC.com, and this is published by Sarah Mim and Alex Hearn from CNBC.com, and it reads, this was updated April 14, 2023 at 4:22, and it reads, the Dow Jones shed more than 100 points, right? That's negative 143 points of the Dow Jones was down today, after a good solid gain as of yesterday. And it reads, the Dow Jones shed more than 100 points Friday, which is today, but notched the fourth straight positive week. And it says the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell Friday, but was heading for a positive week as investors assess a weak retail sales report that dented enthusiasm, if I pronounced that right, around a stronger than expected to start the corporate earnings. And it says the 30 stock down dropped 143 points, 143.22 points, or about 0.42% to 3,886.47. And the S&P 500 fell 0.21% to 4,137.64. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq Composite slid 0.35% to 12,133.47. It says the Dow, however, notched the fourth straight positive week, raising to 1.20%, and the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite, meanwhile, near their fourth positive week in 5. The broad market index 0.79% for the week, while the Nasdaq Composite ticker higher than by 0.29%. It says in advanced retail sales in March showed the consumer spending fell twice as much as expected. And it says the retail sales declined by 1% last month, more than 0.5% drop expected by the economists, pulled by Dow Jones in part because of consumers' pest slave for fuel. Retail sales came in a weaker than expected, but a lot of myths had to do with lower gas prices, with all things being equal in the sight of positive for spending, wrote Chris Zachary, if I pronounce his name right, chief investor of officials at Independent Advisor Alliance. It says inflation has been coming down as gas prices has been going down, but that can revise in an instant, which could drive the headline numbers higher. What is more concerning is that the core, which includes food and gas prices, that have been stubbornly high. Yeah, that definitely been true. Definitely with the food and stuff was in these grocery stores, these food items, definitely consistently going up high. Even though the inflation been down as of lately, I believe to 5%, I believe, as of March, along with the gas prices as well too. But as he was saying, it's going to potentially go back up as well too. I just want to add the note that for what he was saying, but continue on with the reading. It says, and where we believe the risk of higher rates for longer lies, right? Because even though as of March, you've been seeing definitely a decreasing of the inflation, because it's been definitely up as well, but we're going to continue to see possibly with the inflation going up as well too, because like during this time, during the whole year of 2022 and 2023 as well too, That's all you've been seeing. The Federal Reserve actually focusing on on the interest rates and stuff like that, rather than and a lot of times they said it might have had, in a lot of times they said it might affect the economy and stuff like that. But at the same time, they were so focusing more on the inflation to ease that down and raising the interest tax rate as well too. The interest rate, in regards to the markets and stuff like that, because the markets always react what's going on globally and financially. So, the market's been definitely an up and down, But while you still having, the inflation keep on, the Federal Reserve is going to keep on continue to raise interest rates, even though the inflation is down. But, according to the experts dealing with financial, that the food price is gonna constantly continually to go up as well too. And it says, and I'm gonna continue on with the reading. It says the disappointing retail sales data offsets inciting around strong corporation earnings. The J.P. Morgan Chase recorded revenue that made analysts' expectations, with the stock rising more than 7%. It says the Wells Fargo shares briefly rose more than 2.1% after reporting growing profits before closing about flat. These were the first bank earnings since the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank Signature Bank last month. It says elsewhere, United Health, which has the biggest weighting in the Dow, fell 2.7% after the Michelle, if I pronounced that right, described as a modest bet and rise. It says the action came after the United Health saying it's spending more than new diabetes and weight loss drugs for Novo Nordic and Lilly, if I pronounced that name right. It says, meanwhile, Boeing closing lower by more than...
Yeah. I was going to take a flick of the background from the
Oh.
Yeah.
And it says, meanwhile, Boeing closing lower by more than 5% after the aircraft maker warned of the delivery delays for some of its 737 MAX planes. It says expectations for this earning seasons are downbeat. Analysts of a pull by the Refinity expected S&P 500 earnings fell more than 5% in the first quarter. It says that forecast comes after the companies deal with the persist inflation, higher rates. It says the bar. It says the bar has never been set. It says the bar has never been set lower, said Arden Chief. Strategist and B. Riley Financial, I guess, is wide consensus expectations for the S&P 500 to show the earnings that are down more than 5%, that they may be overstating that we will actually find out. It says, I think what's going on to be super important. It's the kind of guidance we get and how confident that corporations will be guiding for the next 3 quarters in the face of what likely be a slower economy, right? Because they kind of mentioned this when I was doing the sit-down lesson, I would say about a couple of days ago, in regards to the markets and finance in that category, They were saying that it might be a potential mild recession. Like, a mild recession, due to the fact with the economy and stuff like that, And they was kind of keeping an eye on of that as well too. But continuing on with the reading, it says investors also assessed two back-to-back reports this week, signaling in a cooling inflation. The March Produce Price Index, the measure prices paid companies, declined to 0.5% the prior month, even as the economists pulled back. The Dow Jones expected prices to stay the same. It says, including food and energy, the index shed 0.1% from the prior month, while the economic estimate the 0.2% month-to-month increase. The PPI, which is considered a leading indication of consumer inflation, bolstering a trend of easing inflation since the March Consumer Prices Index report release. Wednesday, consumer prices grew 5%, only an annual base, which was the smallest year-over-year increase in nearly 2 years. So, but you still gonna have, the Federal Reserve, just in case they make an announcement, they most likely gonna continue to raise the interest rates, even though as of the month of March, as of lately, we've been seeing the inflation easing down to 5%, but you still have economists worried that consumer prices going up once again. The food prices, gas prices are going to continue to go up right along with the interest rates as well too. As even though the inflation is easing, but you still got the cost of living and the cost of goods and the cost of foods is consistently going up right along with the food prices and the gas prices as well too, as they still set their sight of a short recovery, of a slow gain of the economy as well too. But other than that, as of right now, since it's like 4:36 over there in the East Coast, and it's like 3 o'clock over here Central Time. But as the Wall Street closes over there in New York City, the stock exchange, they had the Dow Jones down to 143 points today, right along with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ composite. They all fell lower than expected as of today, even though, for the past this week, they have been having definitely a good solid gain this week. But, throughout this whole year so far in 2023, you've been seeing, it's like a balanced scale of the stocks been going, up and down and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're going to continue to see that increase, So with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying. Through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Bakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And until next time, I will say shalom.